Okay, B'siyata Dishmaya, we're going to learn about Parashat Yitro here in Shar Yichud B'zat Hashem Yitbarach. Two small teachings from the world of Breslev, one from Sichot Aran and one from Likutei Moharan. The first is V'yityatzvu b'tachtit hahar. The nation was standing at the bottom of the mountain. This is the idea that there's a few people, sometimes you have people that they come close to Avodat Hashem, they come close to serving Hashem, they start to do mitzvot, they start to keep Shabbat, they start to learn Torah and to pray, and afterwards you see that they are not holding anymore. They start to move away, they start to distance themselves. Reb Nachman said about this, אף על פי כן יקר אצל השם יתברך התקרבות בעצמו אף לפי שעה. For Hashem, a Jew coming close to him, even for one moment, is very, very precious to Hashem. אף על פי שאחר כך נעשה מה שנעשה, חס ושלום. Even though afterwards it's going to be whatever it's going to be. He might step away, he might move away. ואמר הלא, על שעת מתן תורה נאמר, it says about the time of the giving of the Torah, it says in Shir HaShirim, Shlomo HaMelech says in the fourth chapter there, Libavtini ba'achat me'enayich. My heart was in one of your eyes. And it says in the Midrash, Ma'u ba'achat me'enayich. What does it mean in one of your eyes? Ela shebinyan hasheni, be'ayin hasheni, kvar hayu mistaklim al ha'egel. With their second eye, they were already looking at the golden calf. They were already looking at other things against the Torah. Meaning, at the time of Matan Torah, at the time of the giving of the Torah, their mind was already on leaving the Torah. It was already on lifosh chas v'shalom, to separate themselves, God forbid. Still, even though they had their eyes on other things, they were coming to receive Torah, they were taking a step towards Hashem, and they already had in their mind to step away, just that first step towards Hashem and willing to receive the Torah was very precious for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. My heart was in one of your eyes. The other eye was looking at other things, but that eye is still precious enough, because that's still very, very precious to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the next teaching that we have from Likutei Moharan, 115, Kuf 2. V'yamod ha'am mirachok, the nation stood from afar. U'Moshe nigash el ha'arafel, Moshe approached the fog. Asher sham ha'Elohim, which is in there could be found God. Right? So the nation stood back. There was a fog on the mountain, and Moshe went into the fog because that's where God is. Whoever goes in Gashmiut all of his life, says Reb Nachman, always in materialism, always in the physicality, and afterwards he starts to get passion in his heart and he wants to go in the path of Hashem, he wants to connect to Hashem. So then there's a claim against him in heavens, and they don't let him go. Right, the Yetzirah, the evil forces, they don't let the person walk on the path of Hashem, and he starts to present all of these different obstacles in front of a person. But Hashem is chafetz chesed. Hashem desires loving kindness and wants to give and wants love, and he, so to say, hides himself inside the obstacle, inside the fog. Whoever has consciousness, whoever has connection, whoever has a strong head, so then he looks inside that obstacle, he looks inside of that test that he's finding in his life, and he sees Hashem inside of there. He finds HaKadosh Baruch Hu hiding behind the veil. Like it's written in the Yerushalmi, Im yomar lecha adam eichan Elohecha, tomar lo bichach gadol shebe'aram. If a person comes up and says to you, where is your God? Tell him in the big cities, in New York City, in Los Angeles, in the crazy things, in the big, big places that don't represent godliness. Elai koreh mi Seir. Hashem calls me out of Seir, out of the mountains of Edom, out of the cities of the foreign nations. Hashem can call me from even there. And whoever doesn't have consciousness, when he sees a prevention, he sees an obstacle, he sees a block, he sees a veil, he sees a concealment, straight away he starts to go backwards. He starts to return to what he used to do. And he's scared of the obstacle in front of him. And this miniyah, this obstacle, is the aspect of a cloud, of a fog. Because the idea of fog is darkness. And choshech is like from this word miniyah, to prevent, to hold back. Right? Avram is told by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'lo chasachta, you didn't hold back. Chasach is like choshech, it's the same letters. So this is what it means. The nation stood from afar, because when they saw darkness, when they saw a fog, when they saw prevention, they started to stand from back. They started to go back. And Moshe, who is Dat, who is consciousness, who knows, who's the tzaddik, who knows what to do, the Dat of all of Am Yisrael, he went into the fog. Asher Sham Elohim, that's where God is. He went into the prevention. He went into the obstacle. That inside there, inside the obstacle, Hashem is hiding. Hashem is there. He's present. We also heard from his holy mouth, Rabbi Nachman said, that Hashem himself hides himself inside the obstacle. He said Hashem loves mishpat. Hashem loves justice. And he loves the laws. He loves the structure. He loves all of the Torah that was set up. But he also loves Israel. He loves mishpat, he loves the Torah, and he loves the obligations that we have and the outcomes of doing the right thing and versus the outcomes of doing the wrong thing. But he also loves Israel. But he loves Israel much more than he loves mishpat. Than he loves the justice system of the Torah. Therefore, when Midat Adin comes, when the forces of judgment come and they start to make claims against the Jew, about a person who doesn't want to come closer to Hashem, he's not doing the right thing, he's not following the laws, he's not following mishpat, and he doesn't want to let him come now because of that claim. He doesn't keep the Torah, so why should he be able to experience godliness? This is the claim that they make. Doesn't want to allow him to come to the true tzaddikim, to the true books, to the true path. And Hashem, he loves mishpat, he loves justice. People who don't deserve, they shouldn't get, because that's the system that's set up. Even though Hashem is, so to say, forced to agree to add an obstacle to a person's life. Just because of that claim, because Hashem loves mishpat so much, Hashem loves justice so much, so when the claim comes in heaven, this person doesn't keep Torah, he shouldn't be able to get into holiness so easily. He shouldn't feel the light of Shabbat. He shouldn't have the books open up for him. He shouldn't have a rabbi that's guarding him, because he doesn't care about Torah. He's been living his whole life against Torah. And Hashem has to agree with that, because he set up the justice system and he loves the justice system. It's important to him. According to your actions is what you're deserving of receiving. That's justice. That's din, right? You saw yourself as an individual creature, so you then chose what to do in your life instead of giving into the system. So now you gotta eat from the consequences of your actions, and it's gonna be much harder to feel holy things. It's gonna be much harder to connect. That's according to din and mishpat. Because Hashem Yitbarach, Hashem doesn't push off judgments. He set up the system. This is how it is. This is what the Torah says. If you do this, you get good benefits. If you don't do that, you're going to have a hard time. And if you do that negative thing, you're going to have negative benefits. And if you do this, there's a system here. And Hashem loves it. And He's not going to deny His system. He's not going to get rid of His system. Because Hashem loves justice, loves mishpat. But the truth is, even with that all said, Hashem loves Israel. And that love that He has for Israel is way greater than the love that He has for the mishpat. So what does Hashem do? He can't remove the judgment. He doesn't want to push off the judgment because He needs justice. He needs justice in His system. He needs laws in His world, and He's not going to get rid of them. But His love for us outweighs that system. So Hashem Yitbarach, so to say, has to agree for there to be obstacles in spirituality for a person, to prevent him from coming closer to the truth, because of the deen, because of the judgments that's on that person. But the truth, be'emet la'amito, the truth of the truth, the deepest truth, is that Hashem desires to be connected to this person very much. Hashem wants the person, even with all those obstacles, to keep pushing forward and to really come through. Hashem loves justice, so He agrees for there to be obstacles. But He loves you even more, so He really, in the inner truth, wants you to push through the obstacle and to fight through and to come into connection to Hashem. Because He loves Israel more than He loves Mishpat. So Hashem gives the permission for the obstacles to come, but then Hashem goes and He hides Himself inside the obstacle. He puts Himself there, so to say, inside of the fog, inside of the obstacles that we're experiencing, And whoever has consciousness is able to find Hashem inside the obstacles themselves. Because there is no such thing as a prevention in the world. There is no such thing as an obstacle in coming close to Hashem. Because in the strength, in what makes the obstacle an obstacle, in the hardest part of the test of our life, there is where Hashem is found. That's exactly, in the depth of the hardship. So then what is it? Is it really is an obstacle? Or is Hashem right there in that thing? And by way of the obstacles themselves, specifically by way of them, you can come closer to Hashem. That thing that's hard for you, that's your way to connect to Hashem. Not by doing it, by overcoming the obstacle, by seeing that it's just an obstacle. It's just a styrofoam wall that you can break through. It's not a real wall. It's Hollywood props. It's part of the movie. The goal is to keep pushing forward, because Hashem is hidden inside of there, and that's the idea of Moshe Nigash El Arafel. Moshe, he approached, he entered into the fog, which is the obstacle. Hishama Elohim, because that's where God is. B'ezrat Hashem, may we all look at the obstacles in our life just as messengers of Hashem, just as cover-ups. Because of our actions, we acted in a certain way. The light of Hashem is pure. It always only comes down in a pure way. And sometimes it gets covered up in different concealments, right? In tests, in hardships, in mean people, in rude people, in lack of money, in lack of consciousness. All of these are just tests. And if we really contemplate on what's going on in the test and we look at the test, it's an envelope. And when we remove the envelope, it's an amazing opportunity to connect to the Creator, blessed be He, who loves you so much more than any test you could ever have in your life, that He had to send you the test. He had to agree to give you a test. And He loves you so much that He hid Himself inside of it. Shabbat Shalom.